Hello and welcome to Filmfaker's Commentary with your friends from Superliminal Films. This episode we will be discussing Death at a Funeral, the 2007 Frank Oz directed British version, not the 2010 Americanized version, which is not great. The original, much better. We will be discussing the sequence where the aforementioned funeral actually begins to take place in earnest, and something unexpected is found within the casket. I'm Dan.
J-Rod.
Oh,
Max.
We were at 16 minutes, or 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 8 seconds at the beginning of this. And the thing I'd like to say about this sequence and this film in general is that the camera does not move very much. I mean, there was a little pan there, and just a little bit of action, a little bit of action, a little bit of movement, but most of it is done in cuts.
Yep. It's very conservative, very much. Frank Oz has a tendency to not overuse the camera. He's very much but look at his background, right? Coming from a lot of the puppet work, it's about what's in front of the camera.
Not what's the camera's doing.
Right. I'm using the camera to enhance what's going on or to help tell what's going on, but what's most important is what's in front. Mm-hmm. And very much that's displayed in his style.
One of two Americans in the principal cast, Alan Tudyk.
That's right. And this is just, there's just so much going on at this point.
It's very busy.
Yeah.
And we're in the final third of the film now, and so a lot has already happened, but it's still this is the point at which all the plot lines come together.
Yes.
And that's always an exciting time in a film that has a lot of different interwoven threads, and he does it very well because he's cutting, because so much of the action has been seen in cut throughout the whole film that now we can cut to this plot line, Aemon Targaryen's plot line.
That's right.
Among other
Shit
things.
Himself.
Seeing dead people in the bathroom.
That's right.
As Paul, I also have not seen this since I started watching Game of Thrones, so I forgot that Aemon Targaryen's involved.
Well, the cast of this movie is pretty darn impressive.
This sequence is amazing, and I'm sad we can't hear it because when the priest starts rushing people through the funeral stuff, it's just all right, and Daniel's going to say something about his father.
Don't feel too bad, because if you're watching this without actually having seen Death at a Funeral, A, thank you for watching.
Yes.
And B, watch this movie, jeez.
It's real funny.
As you can see, it is quite amusing.
And again, speaking of the cast, I cannot remember the actor's name, but he plays Detective Inspector Lestrade in Sherlock.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And you can see the rush and the priest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just come on, get up here.
Yeah, get up there.
Do the thing. We've delayed this funeral long enough.
That's right. That's just, very simple, wide.
Well-framed wide shots.
Yep, cutting back and forth. Just nice, simple, very elegant. Giving the actor a lot of... And a close-up with a medium, which is an impressively Spielbergian choice there. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact the attention's on him, it's not supposed to be.
Well, and you have a lot...
everybody.
Yeah, and you have a lot to see in the background.
Right.
He's
supposed to feel small, right? Because everybody does when they have to give a speech.
Especially at their father's funeral.
Yeah.
That's a pretty involved thing to have to do.
Right. So you got that wide close-up.
The sounds coming out of the casket every time they cut back.
Yeah.
Which is great, because now watching it without sound... The casket doesn't move.
Right.
It's just sounds coming out of the casket.
That is right.
It's just some Foley work and a shot of the casket, and you infer that it's coming from the casket. And I love that. There's a show don't tell. But tell.
It looks the same lens for most of these.
And the same focal depth.
Yeah.
And then there's more Game of Thrones.
That's right.
And more Americans.
The other American in the principal cast.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's because it's cutting to each specific storyline that has interacted before, or the characters that get cut to, which
you
I
see
absolutely
who's
love.
genuinely surprised, who knew that Dinklage was in there to begin with.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Yeah,
funny.
the cutting in this sequence is fantastic because it's very obvious what each person is involved with.
Exactly.
The blackmail photos.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know that some disgusting stuff has happened, even if you hadn't seen it before. I'd assume so. Jared, is that true? Did you pick that up from
You
watching
figure
it?
that's what
Well, I also knew the plot of the story before
Right.
I even saw this bit.
Plus his reaction is pretty much a dead giveaway.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, and then he gives a very rousing speech.
He does. It's actually a very great funerary speech.
Agreed.
From one man to his father. even though his father was a buggerer, as
He's
they say.
a great man. Well,
Britain.
He was a good man.
Yeah. Make sure you check
He's
us
all
out, superliminalfilms.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Duck Press, iTunes, Fruit Array. We're all over the place.